Hello everyone. So this is our presentation about the final year project of myself, Dunuila Ranasinga and Tisanaik. Our project is to design and fabricate a small-scale stove to produce biochar and bioenergy. So next, about the aim. The aim of this project is to increase the efficiency of bioenergy usage for domestic cooking purposes while producing biochar by the leftovers. And if I introduce our project briefly, there are several things to be highlighted. As you see, first, indoor air pollution cannot be neglected simply because people of rural areas used to spend more time inside their houses or buildings. It is because of the traditional three-stone stove or other traditional stoves that are still in use in rural areas, which emits more particulate matter, carbon monoxide, and carbon dioxide mostly. And also, since in a traditional stove a complete burning process is taken place, it also emits greenhouse gases and a considerable amount of ashes. So, the scientists and the researchers have been doing several inventions and modifications in these firewood cooking stoves for a long time, and they have found several types of developed stoves such as TLUD stove, which is also known as top lift up draft stove, the fixed bed gasifier, the fluidized bed gasifiers, and so on. So TLUD stove is our major consideration in our project. The proposed design is a small-scale, eco-friendly stove that can be generated energy from corn cobs and also other agricultural waste, which has the ability to convert biomass into a recalcitrant carbon during the energy generation process, which is also known as biochar. Biochar is a carbon-rich fertilizer which can be used for several agricultural purposes. Here, the corn cobs are mainly considered due to the structure of the corn cob that makes the pyrolysis process that takes place inside the stove efficient and effective. Accordingly, we have decided to make our objectives as follows. To modify the existing stoves with higher energy efficiency and to use the unutilized agricultural waste as usable bioenergy, as a source of usable bioenergy and the biochar production, utilizing the burning process and wastes can be used as fertilizer. To control the burning process and so that the waste materials can be reused as fertilizer, which is also known as biochar. And then, as the next objective, we are considering about the emissions. So we are using our maximum effort to limit the emissions that are existing in the traditional stoves. And also, we have made an objective to make the stove more user-friendly.
The methodology is consist with several phases. First phase was initiating the project. In here we went through related important parameters such as firewood cooking stoves, biochar, indoor air pollution and customer requirements. Project scope and cost and the time plan also done in this same step. The next step of the methodology is review on the existing products. So in this stage we founded information of the researchers and experiments done in the same field, as well as the current scenario of biochar producing stores and which type of stores are using in presently. We went through the literature reviews, articles, books, websites related to the field, and we made two prototypes. The first one we used to get an idea about TLUD and how the biochar is producing. The TLUD means top lift updraft. Second prototype was produced by aluminium and without top lift. Mainly we use this to select a material for our final product and check whether the biochar is producing without top lift. Next we made another prototype to do the test runs and we took the relevant readings. Dimension of this were taken according to the existing stores, and we carried out test runs in same day where the environmental conditions were almost same. According to the result obtained from the test runs, we identified several drawbacks and relevant modifications were designed. According to the modification, design was finalized and final phase of fabrication was started. These are the final results taken by the analysis of observations. The produced biochar removal method is not safe and reliable, so we modified produced biochar removal method for the as our modifications. Next, the outer temperature of the stove raised up to 90 degrees Celsius. We used a wire mesh at the top to avoid the disturbance from the wind to the flame. Into the volume what we have calculated in the calculation part, these are the dimensions of our final product.
So our next step is to final design. We have designed the final model in the SolidWorks. We have attached the drawing files with the document. In the next slide you can see our first fabrication prototype. So we fabricate this prototype to just get the idea about the structure, and we have done some test runs in this prototype. So in the next slide you can see our outputs. We have made some biochars and some photos of burning process. Then after getting some idea about the structure, we have made another prototype. Our idea was to use the stainless steel for the stove, but after the first progress review, the panel is the aluminium for the material of the stove, because it is somewhat cheap material. Then we have used aluminium for the second prototype, but we was failed because of the heat of the inner chamber. The aluminium was melt. In the next slide you can see some videos of our second prototype. In next slide you can see some photos. The aluminium has been melt due to the high temperature of the inner chamber. So therefore we thought to use stainless steel for the fabrication. Thank you.